Welcome to Lighten Up Talk Radio with Michael and Lee. Join us with topics that wake up the connection to your soul. You can listen to us at lightenuptalkradio.com. Hello, all you beautiful universal beings. And yes, I did say universal. This is a broadcast out to the universe. We are located here in Dandridge, Tennessee doing this broadcast, but it is going out everywhere through the airwaves, through the energy. And today has been an amazing day. It is Sunday, August 12th, and we have had just amazing conversations here before getting on the air. Lots of energy in this room. How are you doing, Lee?
I'm doing very well, Michael. I'm glad to be here sitting at this table with the 20,000 people that's sitting in here with us.
And we are serious about that.
Exactly. That was the number that we received just a few minutes ago, that there was 20,000 and still coming. And there is actually a Pleiades ship in the front yard, and they're looking at the window, through the window at us. And my inner self is waking up.
And so is mine. Every day it just keeps waking up. What about you out there? Is yours waking up every day? Today is a day to challenge every one of you all listening out there to wake up to your highest self. Absolutely. It is an everyday thing, moment by moment thing. And this week for me has been really powerful in terms of noticing any tendencies to overanalyze myself. How about you all? Do you know what I'm talking about? That when you get those thoughts, you get a thought, and then with that thought comes, oh, maybe yes. Oh, what if this happens? What if that happens? Oh, but maybe that might not be from the divine. That might be, how is that going to unfold? You know, those little the monkey brain, I think is, Lee, what you always call it, the monkey brain. But this week, it just really was a powerful awareness, the importance to disconnect from all of that analyzing stuff. There's a place for analyzing. And I know in my personal experience as an engineer, there was a place for analyzing, and it came when I was doing a calculation or looking at a situation engineering-wise and going like this. But I'm finding in my day-to-day life that analyzing absolutely undermines the whole process of personal transformation, personal empowerment, and growth as far as coming into the true self. It is just so important, and I'd like to challenge each one of you out there to pay attention when that analyzer inside starts telling you, no, don't go there, or, just as I was saying before, anytime that little voice starts trying to tell you what's going to happen or what if or how, pause. And you know what another thing this week, I'm going to tell you this quick story, but I know, Lee, you have something to say. It's a rolling right up out of that mouth.
No, you go right ahead, Michael. I'm waiting.
I had an experience with my mother this week that was really powerful. And it was actually, maybe it was yesterday, it doesn't even matter. But she said something to me, and it was asking me to do something I don't even remember, and that doesn't matter. And I immediately had a reaction to what she said. And the analyzer kicked in. And the analyzer started saying, what if I do it? What if I don't do it? I don't really want to do it. But if I did, what would happen? Blah, blah, blah. Just all this stuff. And I stopped. And I turned to my mother. And I said, Mom, I just would like for you to understand sometimes what goes on in my head, because I'm ready for it to stop. And I told her the whole story that was playing out in my head, and I said, I don't really even believe that this is something that you're thinking. I think it's just the old analyzer within me. And so I explained the whole thing to her, and ever since that I did that, it almost just stopped. when I found a voice to express what was going on in my head, and I even confronted it with the person that I was feeling guilty about, because there was a guilt energy that was coming up with that, and it just stopped on the spot. That hasn't come up again. That energy, it just totally stopped. And so I'd like to put that out there for you all to confront. If you don't have the opportunity to speak, write. Find some way to express that monkey energy, that analyzer energy, and give it a voice, but get it out. Because if it just stays locked up in your head, it just kind of, I see this little bouncy ball going bink, 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 you know, in your head. So I'd like to challenge you all to give your analyzer a voice, and with that, from my experience, it just goes. You know what I'm talking about?
I do know what you're talking about over here. I have been working on a monkey-type brain for a number of years. Sometimes my mind works really fast, and I have just really concentrated this year of slowing it down quite a bit, to whereas I can enjoy the moment of that one moment before I go to the next moment before I'm finished with my first moment, okay? Mm-hmm. You know how that goes. And I've really been able to try to slow that down, and I've been very mindful of that. And at times I still catch myself of going through 10 sentences within 1 minute, but I'll try to back it up, and I change that energy. It's somewhat a challenge at times when your mind works really fast. And I had an experience this past Friday night that I do want to speak about. I went to this very open, free dance type place in Knoxville. And I was just dancing around and just having a wonderful time. And anyway, afterwards, a couple of people came up and said, we've been listening to this radio show, and it is really great. We enjoy it. And so I said, well, what do you enjoy most about it? And they said, well, we know who you are now, because this was the second time I had been there. We know who you are now, so we know that you're a middle-aged woman. Oh, and that makes it really special that somebody that they're middle age actually still has this type of thought pattern of being a child and freedom and can think universal, and you're not stuck with any type of thought patterns that most people that's your age has. And this was from a person like mid-20s, and I'm thinking to myself, what a great thing to say. And it was just like, I had a friend with me, and she was saying, well, yeah, on the way home, she was saying, well, yeah, you sure are a wise woman. I said, don't go there now. I'm not taking that stuff from you. I'll take it from the dance place.
It's truly.
But it was true. But I thought, I looked at that and I thought, what a compliment that is to have that. But what I would express to other people that's middle-aged people is to look at yourself. And, I've talked about this on a couple of occasions. It don't make any difference how old you are. It's all in how you change yourself. You can reinvent yourself if you're 80 or 90 years old. You can reinvent yourself. Mm-hmm. It doesn't make any difference. Time means nothing. Age means nothing. It's just that you go in there every day and you choose a sweet spot within you that you want to really praise yourself. I don't think that's ego at all. I think that you need to praise yourself when you're doing something good. I was extremely praising myself when I was out there dancing with those guys that was, in their 20s. And I was just dancing just as happy as they were dancing,
Absolutely.
And I thought, what a wonderful thing that is to be able to just rejoice. And, I think that some people get to 40 years old and they think, oh my gosh, my happy days, my young days are over. 40 is just a beginning. That's just a beginning. Every day you need to look at your life as a beginning. I don't care how old that you are. You look at it as a beginning. And she also came back and she said that plus my southern accent.
It is rather uniquely.
And it's unique.
I can turn one on if I want to, but
it's one
not...
of those Carolina deals. I'm a Carolina girl. But that as well. So it really doesn't make any difference whether you speak Northern, Southern, Spanish, Latin. It doesn't make any difference. You're all the same people. It's all a universal type language. Everything is. And I was telling Michael today when I was sharing that story, I thought, what a wonderful thing that is. I mean, she really didn't even realize, I don't think, really what she was saying to me, except I took it that what a great thing that is. Because she was putting me in a category that a lot of people at my age she felt like was just closed up. And that's just not the case. If you can open it up anytime that you want to. And, as I said to her Friday evening, I'm still a kid. Boy, I feel like and I told her, I said, I feel like I'm 10 years younger than you are. And she said, I believe it the way that your thought pattern is, you see. So it's not around age. It's not around how you look. It's not around what race you are. It's not around anything. It's universally being yourself and going out there and to actually be intrigued. I can go out in my yard and be intrigued with seeing anything that's in my yard that's different than what I've looked at maybe the day before. If there's a different flower in there, or if there's different type of things in your life, just appreciate it. It's total appreciation for where you're at in your life now. Not thinking backwards, not thinking forwards, is where you're at now. Mm-hmm. And if you're feeling this energy, I'll have to say that in 2012 there's been quite a few people that I have met that's very off balanced. They don't really understand why they're off balance, but it's totally the energy shift. And I mean, even with myself, I can tell a difference at times with driving. I've kind of, I'm looking at the lanes, and they're just kind of sometimes not as straight as what I know they are, and I just have to just kind of focus on it a lot more than what I have done before. And I think to myself, I can't imagine. The people that's driving in this, and they're going to the doctors every day to try to get medicine to see that they got vertigo or something going on. Well, this is not that. This is energy. And so you just need to take the moment and don't stay stuck in the old pattern and go for a new pattern.
It's time to embrace
It's time to embrace all that change and just to go with it.
I think it's important to not just acknowledge even that there's a change going on within you.
That's correct.
Just give it opens the door even more to let it in, even if you don't know what it is or how to do it or whatever. And for example, I am being very much called to acknowledge the spirit guides that are sitting with us today. And so are your spirit guides.
Yes, they are.
They are wanting me to encourage all of you out there to connect with your own spirit guides. And Lee, I'm going to have you talk about what the spirit guides are. I don't know if we've talked about that before, but it's important to connect with these beings that are here. They're very close to this earthly realm, and they're able to help with all sorts of things in your life right now on a day-to-day type of basis. And they keep showing me for you all to light a candle, sit in front of that candle, and set your intentions to meet your spirit guides.
That is correct.
I just kept
Thank you, spirit guides. They gave you the correct information. Well, they just did some work that I didn't have to talk about. So anyway, I will say that that a number of the spirit guides that are with you, and a lot of times, you'll have 2 or 3. And they can actually go in and out of your life based on what is going on in your life. Sometimes one will exit out, another one will come in based on what you're going through at that time. You're always have a spirit guide beside you. They're always on the right hand side of you. They always are there for guidance. And the candle is definitely a place to put it there in whatever wishes that you're looking at having in that moment. Doesn't mean it's going to happen overnight. you have to do the work yourself. So many people look at, well, if I just say this one time, then it'll happen. That's not so. You have to put the intention out of what you want. I will tell you that they absolutely will be with you and help you through anything that you have going on within your life to move you forward into your life, or if you have any type of maybe a difficulty that you are perceiving in your life, they will go in there and they will help you with that as well. And all you have to do is ask. And a lot of times the spirit guide that comes down with you at your birth has been a very good friend of yours up above and, in God's realm. And they will come down. They will know what your chart is that you wrote, because you wrote your own. I hate to tell everybody out there, but whatever that you've been going through, you've wrote your own chart. And that chart is totally written on advancing yourself into each lifetime that you come back into. Mm-hmm. And so whatever you didn't learn in the past lifetime, you're going to come back. You've written the chart for another lesson that you want to learn in this lifetime. So they're very aware of that. So at times, even if you get a little off of track with that, there will be things that will come into your head that will put you back on track again. But the only difficulty with that at times is you don't listen. You're always thinking that it's just something out there that you're just going in your own head talking to yourself. Well, that's just not so. And I will tell you that anything that comes in from a spirit guide is total knowledge, is total love. It's total, one of the greatest things that can ever happen in your entire life. They are the start of this. A totally different energy because they've lived on this earth at one time or another in different parts of the world. And here we go again. Mm-hmm. It's universal power here. And they absolutely will be with you at every given moment. I will tell you that I had an encounter that I'd like to acknowledge this week. And I had been listening to a couple of CDs, and Doreen Virtue, and it was her guide of angels, but she also spoke about spirit guides and how to get more in depth with contacts with all of the angels and spirit guides. And I've always just asked, show me a sign. Mm-hmm. I've always been one of those, show me a sign. I know they're there, but show me a sign. And I actually had asked for the spirit guide to speak to me several months ago. And I got woke up right in the middle of the night with calling my name. And because my original name is Lamar, it's not Lee. So I will clear that up now. It's Lemar, Lemar. So I'll spell it for everybody out there. Named after my father. And so anyway, that name totally came across the room to me. And it's normally going to be a very powerful voice. And it's going to be a very loud voice. So that's what. Don't be frightened with that, because that's strictly the person that's with you all the time. So you wouldn't be frightened with somebody that's with you all the time. That is totally your best friend. So don't ever be frightened with that. But anyway, I had been listening to these two CDs pretty consistently this week. And so anyway, I had a thought about it, and I guess it was now probably Wednesday evening. Mm-hmm. And at 2:22, I heard this horrendous voice say, Lamar. And it was just, it was even louder than the first time I had heard it, several months ago. And I sat straight up in the bed. And I realized at that moment, I had been out journeying. I felt like I had been out journeying. And in that moment, I had just came back into myself in the bed, because I kind of felt myself kind of hit the bed. I remember that little hit right there. And then that voice comes to me, which my belief system is that it was totally a voice of, it's totally love, compassion. Hey, I'm with you. Okay, it could have been a little hard landing tonight, but I'm with you. Okay, I'm with you. And I truly believe that was exactly what was meaning at that time. And the one great thing about the guides, there's so many people that, I hear a lot of times doing life coaching that they're so lonely. But, and I always say, why are you lonely? because you have your best friend on the right-hand side of you at all times. That is really a friendship between both people, because they've chosen to come in to be with you. And they chose you. So that's an amazing thing within itself. And they love you enough that when you've passed that time of the life that they wanted, that they needed to be with you with their guidance, when you get that, they will depart. And they will give another spirit guide to come into the place to whatever your next chapter is in your life. I just had that happen within the past month myself. I had several men energies with me. They're still here. But I also had one of the men stepped out and a female energy came in, because the female energy needed to come in to do a lot of love and heart work with me, with a person that is very ill that's around me. And so what a beautiful, lovely thing that is. I mean, I just ask for the whole universe out there of all the people to totally don't get your mindset as being anything but everything is possible. Everything is possible. When you shut your mind to it, it shuts out a lot of the greatness that you could have in your life of happiness and joy and getting closer to the source of God and all the heavens.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
You want to talk about yours?
Well, yeah, but before I did, I was going to say, we've had such interesting journeys. Everything about our journeys has kind of been opposites.
It has.
And it's real fascinating because Lee, we may have talked about this on an earlier show, but you've spent a lot of your initial journey opening up into the energy realms, working with the spirit guides and the spirits and that sort of thing.
Absolutely. That was my first 3 years.
And for me, the first 3 years was totally the opposite. It was working with the angels. A lot of any of you locals here in Knoxville probably have heard of me as someone that works with angels, which is true, but I also, I'm open to all of the above. And just this last year, I used to hear my spirit guides' names, but I never really worked with them that much consciously. I was so much working with the angels and the ascended masters and all that stuff. But this last year, there was a switch out, and I'm going to say it was somewhere middle to later, kind of fall of last year. There's a total switch out for me of my my guides. And it was so fascinating because I had one of those experiences too around that time, where I sat up straight in the bed hearing my name as if it were just yelled in the room.
Absolutely. That's the way it
works. And it was about that time that the switch out happened. And, I've then over these last 6 months, I've been hearing the two names. They would just kind of, it was like placing the name in my ear, and then not really getting into it too much. And then this week, it was just all of a sudden, it's time for us to talk. And yesterday, all day long, I kept getting the message, you need to write. Sometime today, stop, get a pen and paper, and it's time to write. We need to talk to you. And I didn't really know exactly, what it was about, but I said, okay. And I did it right before I went to bed. I got my paper, and the second I hit that pen to paper, and doing the automatic writing, any of you that want to talk to your spirit guides, automatic writing is a great way to do it. I find for myself, when I write down the messages from spirit, it really helps ground it so I can reread it again. Because sometimes I'm kind of interdimensional in my consciousness when I receive the message. And when I write it down, it allows me to go back fully grounded and read it. And it's really helpful. But anyways, last night they came through, gave me this really powerful message for me about what was going on in my life and how they were here to help, and the importance at this time. And I'm also putting this out there to you because I do believe this is another universal message that we have today, that it's important for you to connect with your guidance that's all around you. And I do believe that spirit guides are very important right now for helping us take the specific human footsteps, Lee, as you talked about how the spirit guides are here to help us, and listening and receiving that. So I got that message last night, and today the spirit guides have been with me all day long.
Yes.
And we have had a total blast talking with them, getting messages, learning about them. I can't wait to even learn more. One of them actually happened to live in England, and the other one's from Kansas. One was an energy worker, another one's a naturopath, and it's just really fascinating how they come in and the gifts that they bring. And so I wanted to acknowledge the two spirit guides that are helping me right now, and I'm so excited about learning more and becoming even closer friends with them.
And they had lunch with us today.
They did.
There was 4 of us in the booth.
And it was one of the most amazing things in a moment was the energy just changed, and all of a sudden it was as if one started to densify or materialize in front. And I'm just like, wow, we are so blessed. And just before we got on this show, we were talking about, and I want to put this out there, that sometimes, I mean, I go every day experiencing total blessings from the angels, the divine, all these different forms of giving me messages. And sometimes I actually take it for granted, that I forget how amazing that it is of a connection that I have cultivated and that they have cultivated with me to be able to share. And just talking about them, I just saw a feather drop in front of my face right now. That
they're touching my face right now. I'm having all these hands on my face.
It's beautiful. Wonderful.
Yeah, it is.
And I'm ready to just really honor that and remember every moment what grace it is to be touched by an angel. It's such regular, everyday moments after moments of it. And we had another fascinating experience today. We've had a lot of confirmations with a similar message. When we came back from lunch, I sat down on the couch, and all of a sudden I noticed the clock had stopped on the wall. And I said, Lee, did you know that clock? And she hadn't been aware of it, and usually notice all those kind of things. And I just was like, notice what time it is. And I did. And I wrote it down and looked it up in the angel book, which is a fun thing to do because we're so in tune with that book and use it all the time. They connect us with messages. It's wonderful. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I opened it up, blah, 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 and it happened to be a confirmation of a lot of the same stuff that we've been talking about all day about being on the right track. And I read my message to Lee from the Spirit Guides last night, and it was the same kind of information. It was like another confirmation. And I just want to put it out there that there are so many ways that Spirit, the divine, speaks to us. And if you just open up, step out of that box of thinking that it's only going to come one way, or whatever it is. It's so important in this time of embracing change to look at things and open up to receiving guidance, receiving love, receiving whatever it is in new ways. You know what I mean with that? It's just so important. So I'm putting that out there for you all as I am myself, to continue to open up and embrace all of this magnificent universe and be open to not be afraid of it, to embrace that in the universal terms which we are speaking of, that we're all one. And so why would you want to be afraid of anything? Why would you want to be afraid of your spirit guide, or a deceased loved one that's coming to visit you, or an angel, or the beautiful beings of light that just landed the ship out in the yard because they wanted to come and sit and listen to this show too, because it is truly being broadcast energetically. And what grace that is.
It is that. And just like with the clock episode, I think it was 8:37. It was 8:37 is what I had written down. And when we came back from lunch, it was after 2:00. And so it was the situation on the clock was, the first thing that I'm thinking is, well, the battery's gone out, and then nope.
I forgot about all that.
I don't think. Remember that?
Yes.
I said, nope, don't think so.
You didn't put a new battery in.
No, I didn't. I didn't put a new battery in. So I went over there and I heard it still ticking. I said, well, it's still ticking. So this is no battery situation. So it just totally went to message situation. And then Michael just picks the book up and reads the message, which is totally exactly what he just expressed. And so I just went ahead and I changed the time on the clock to what the current time was. And it's now been 4 hours and 20 minutes, and it's keeping perfect time. So this, so this is, the word coincidence, take it totally out of your vocabulary, because there's no such a thing. That word shouldn't even have ever been even invented or even put in a dictionary, because that's not what it is.
That's that analyzer thing
I hear that all the time that people will say about, no, there's no coincidence. Everything is designed exactly to the millimeter of what it's supposed to be for you. And no matter what you're going through, you look at it and you say, well, this is for me. So I just need to research, and I need to find, and you quiet yourself, first of all, and you just listen. That was probably one of the most difficult things that I had to really do in the beginning. I had to really work on closing my vocal cords to be able to listen to what was going through my head. And at times I still have, I catch myself now, that was a wonderful thing, because the first thing I'd want to do is pick a phone up and call my neighbor, which was also on the path too. We'd want to talk about that. Instead of just sitting and just getting it myself and just really consuming every single thing that was going into my life. That's when you're totally in touch with your own self and your own soul. And that's what life is about. That's exactly what it's about. And there's just all kinds of information that you can get. One of the books that I would definitely recommend, and I like the book Soul's Perfection, and that's by Sylvia Brown. And it's one of the most interesting book I've ever read. And it's the Journey of the Soul series. So you can actually, there's a 3-book scenario with this, but this is book number 2. And it totally, in the very beginning, this was the first book I ever read. And it woke me up in that day. I could not put it down. I read the whole book. I stayed up 24 hours and read this book. Because you know what happened to me? What happened, Michael, was that I actually felt myself there. When I read the book, I thought, that's me. This is the way that my thought pattern is. This is the way I have felt my life. This has been everything. This is me. Mm-hmm. What a wonderful thing to know when you can read a book. And it's so simple. It's very simple to read. When you can read it and you can pick out in the book the places that you did not go for one reason or another, but how that you wanted to go. You see. Mm-hmm. And when you can read that and you can take that book, and I just about wore it out, because it really explained a lot of things in my life that I just really didn't know where to go to. And it just changed me. It changed me. And I've told numerous people this, and I'll tell the universe this. Within 90 days of when I read this book, I was an enlightened being that was, and this is not talking ego, but I was farther into this than some people that I have met with 30 years behind them. Because they were stop and starters. And I was so dedicated to wanting to go into my spiritual holistic power because it was so me. Mm-hmm. I knew it. I knew as soon as I read this book, this is me. And boy, when you can read a book that you really know that's you, I'm telling you, I can't imagine somebody not jumping on that and going for it. And I did. I jumped on that train and went for it.
It's like the mask was melted off.
It just went.
Old mask.
It just went. Mm-hmm. And here I am years later, just feeling just exuberated, feeling like that there's absolutely nothing that can touch me but just grace and love and happiness. Nothing. And when you can get your soul to that feeling, and to know that we've got over 20,000 people, that's the number we were told, that was sitting right here in this studio with us. What kind of blessings is that?
It's amazing.
It is an amazing time. And the reason why we put this out is because all of you out there in this universe can be talking about this every day.
Instead of hiding it under the wraps.
Wherever that you're at. You can talk to your friends, you can go to your different, believe it or not, churches are changing now.
Mm-hmm.
The whole pattern of a church is changing. It's just amazing. You can listen to all the changes of people opening up and getting more empowered, listening more to their own souls and their own self. Because that's God's word. That is God's power that's putting it there with you. And I can only say, just go for whatever resonates with you in this.
Absolutely.
Don't just shut your mind off and say, I'm listening to two people that I don't even know what they're halfway talking about. Because I don't want to go there. Then you're judging me. The only thing I'm saying is go in there and just find your own self.
Yeah.
And how beautiful of experience that can be. Beautiful.
And there's universal.
Total universal.
Support
Total
to help
support.
you go there.
Right. And also, do not be afraid of the lights blinking in your house, because that's also a sign of a spirit coming in or energy above coming in. And there is a message for that, because that will be one of your first things that most people will pick up on is maybe just one blink.
We have that happen a lot here in this room when we're talking. A lot of times if we're talking about something with a very focused intention or some sort of acknowledgement, the lights will flash. And you can almost feel it, feel the energy of it at the same time that the light flashes. And it's a total acknowledgement.
And if you feel like that, say for example, when you get in here, you have the sight, you have the hearing, you have the feeling, you have all of this going on with you. If you have any tendency not to be able to pick up on one or two of these senses that will come to you, then that's okay. But you can ask every day for that to be strengthened. There's actually a realm of angels that totally works on sight. There is a whole realm of angels that just works on your visibility and strengthening that. Or if it's your hearing, or if it's your speaking, or if it's your feeling, just your feeling. Mm-hmm. I mean, I do a lot of feeling. I get chill bumps all over me, and I know that's confirmation always for me for that.
Me as well.
But that type of thing you can be helped with, but you have to ask, because that's your free will to ask. So you need to be doing that first.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful reminder of that. Putting that intention out. If you don't know what to do, that's oftentimes a wonderful first step.
That's right. You just ask, you quiet your mind, and listen.
Because really, that's really all opening up to the intuition is clearing out the closets of the mind, body, and spirit.
Right.
That's really all it is.
That is so true.
And when the closets are clear, the senses are there.
And the more that you open yourself up and you put the intentions that I want it all. I mean, that's one thing that Michael and myself did. I can tell you from the very get-go, we want it all. And it was just amazing how fast, because we asked for that. Mm-hmm. And if you want to take one step at a time, that's your step. That's okay. That's you. That's your way of doing it. No difficulty with any of that. You do it the way that you want to do it. But whatever that is, they're always there to help you, and they will back you up, and they will, just as fast as you want to move through that, you will be able to move through that. And it's just wonderful. It's beautiful. I can't even tell you how fulfilling that is in your heart.
Absolutely. And don't ever think you're going to get things faster than you're ready for them.
No.
It's just not going to happen.
It won't.
If you're never given more than you can handle.
That's
you're
right.
always given what you can handle at any given time. Because I can look over these last years, and it's just amazing to see the openness of today. If I look back 5 years ago, my closets weren't clean enough to be able to handle the clarity of and the transparency of the angels and the divine and that they are now. because I had a lot of fear myself, growing up as a child who was afraid. And, I think I talked about this on one of the shows, the boogeyman in the closet and all that kind of stuff. And so anytime I would get any kind of sense of that energy, it would be like, I would feel my body would react to it because it became a trauma from, at the time, my brother so adamantly doing that over and over again. So just be gentle, but ask, and the way for the closet clearing will be made.
That's correct. It will always be just what you need at that time. No more than that.
Absolutely. Well, we did pick some cards today.
We did. And if we have, I don't even know where we're at in the time.
We've got about 5 more minutes.
In the time frame, but I did want to also go through a meditation of light, meditation at the end. So let's talk about one card.
One card.
So let's.
You want to go first?
Yeah, I'm gonna pick the one that. This is the perfect one here, and I started to go for the middle one. And I went to the one on the left, so it was the one that was the perfect one here. Okay. This says you are supplied for today and all of your tomorrows. What a beautiful, it's infinite supply. And I think that's a lot of what we've been talking about today, that you will always have what you need and what you need for today and tomorrow. And it's a beautiful goddess. It's called Snida, and it's a bird, and she's just sitting beside water. And it's nothing but tranquility. What a beautiful card that is.
That's awesome. And the one that I was drawn to talk about it's also a goddess card, and it's the Bridget card. And it says, don't back down. Stand up for what you believe is right. And boy, has that also been an Archangel Michael message for me and lately. So whatever you feel in your heart is right, take a stand for it. It's just like today, Lee and I today talking about these universal energies. We feel so passionate and feel it's so important to share this message of oneness on even a kind of a unique twist to it, with all of these beings from all around the universe coming into our space today. And every day, that to me is just totally normal.
That's correct. And what grace that is. It's just total grace.
So, Lee, are you going to read that meditation?
I want to go over, and I'd like for you to just quiet yourself wherever that you're at, and shut your eyes. And you can do whatever your normal thing is. If you don't meditate, you can just be quiet, shut your eyes, and just be at peace. Ask for the God consciousness to come and descend upon you. Put your hands upward on your thighs and keep the white light of the precious Holy Spirit around you. It is Mother and Father God's love for each other, which descends upon you in a bubble of light. Make this light so brilliant and so bright that it not only extends around you, but swirls out and encompasses your loved ones, your family, and all the people in the world who need help. From your light, the power that you can call on from God spills out and encompasses all the animals, children, and people who are sick. Then bring a green light through your own body to make you healthy and strong. Extend it out now to all your loved ones and on the other side. Ask those who have passed to attend to you today and to stand behind you with the archangels, archetypes, and your spirit guides. Keep us, God, from addictions. Keep us from harm and hurt. Dear God, bless our days. Take away any pain and ease our minds. God, lighten our burdens and our thoughts and keep these all clean. Keep our motives pure. Help me have the ability, dear God, to heal myself, and others. Let me be strong to the very end. And when the end comes, let me go quickly, with dignity and without pain. God, so I can stand before you with shining eyes, and you can see directly into my heart, free of all wrongs, even of the human phobias. Feel the grace of God enter your soul, heart, and mind. Feel the energy coming to you directly from God, and feel yourself going right into the heart of God. Feel that blessing's peace at the reunion. Feel your homesickness vanish. We are back with our Creator. Carry this peace and love with you. Give it out as you carry out a basket of love and spirituality. Sprinkle it among all that whom you love. Feel the energy coming right through the very bottoms of your feet and through the trunk of your body and around the face and the mouth and the eyes and the forehead. Come all the way up, feeling absolutely marvelous, better than you've ever felt before. And you are total universal power, total love, total energy moving across all the lines within this world and others. And we bless all that's out there, and thanks so much for being here with us. And so it is.
And so it is. And we'll look forward to talking to you all next week. Lots of love.
Lots of love.